Welcome guys and girls and all fans of the Blood God. So, I've been playing a bit more World Eaters again recently, and despite lacking one wound, pretty much across the board, I still feel that they are fairly strong, but I want to run down today what I would like to see from the new Codex. Because presumably and hopefully there will be an individual codex for the World Eaters. I mean, after all, there's an individual codex for the Thousand Sons and an individual codex for the Death Guard. So why not World Eaters? So, what would I like to see from the World Eaters? And now, I could say I want them to all have 20 wounds and things like that, but I'm thinking, realistically, what are they going to have? So, I think they should still have Hateful Assault, although I have noticed that Death Guard have not got Hateful Assault anymore. They have just an innate extra attack, and I'm fine with that. An extra attack across the board on all the stats would be great. So I don't think Hateful Assault is in a bad place. They get an additional attack when they charge. World Eaters pretty much get that anyway. So I think keeping that ability in there is fine. And if they wanted to get rid of Hateful Assault and just give all the World Eater Marines an extra attack, like they did with Death Company, Death Guard even. I'm going to say this a lot because I'm a Blood Angels player, and Death Guard and Death Company, it's just going to mash together in my head, isn't it? I'm trying not to say it as much as I can. Which brings me on to the next point. They have Mortarion. Does that mean we're going to see Demon Agrom? I would lose my mind if Demon Agrom comes out, and probably upset my bank manager. Because it would just happen if I had to sell a kidney to do it. Not that I recommend selling a kidney. It's going to be amazing. I don't care if his rules are trash. I just think that would be so cool. And way back, there was on a whiteboard in the background at GW headquarters, Demon Agrom. Now, don't tease us. Don't tease us. Now, I know obviously the world went to hell because of COVID and things were set back. Fine. But hopefully someone out there locked away in a GW dungeon is making a modelling mould and rigging up some stats for Demon Agrom. Demon Agrom would be amazing. Obviously, in my head, I see him as big as the new style Bloodthirsters. If he was slightly bigger, I wouldn't complain, but that would be slightly ridiculous. I mean, if you look at Magnus the Red, he's flipping huge. Mortarion, he's huge. You know, so this guy should be unbelievable. Unbelievable. He should have the classic dreadlocks. He should have the classic butcher's nails when he got turned into a giant demon. They should be still rooted in there. I think he should be an absolute beast. Huge axe. You know, maybe like the Bloodthirster of Unfettered Fury. That kind of style, possibly. I have no ideas what his rules would be. Maybe if he takes more damage, he does more attacks, or does more damage in return. Because World Eaters do not have much of an access to mortal wounds, especially through psychic means. That's not their bag at all. And yes, with the brass collar of Khorne, and the fact they have a stratagem to deny psychic powers, not bad, that's okay. But you know, if you're going up against Death Guard, hey, I got it right this time. You know, there's lots of mortal wound outputs there, and they need something in return. So you know, 40k is borrowing some of their rules, or have done over the last few years from AOS. I'm really hoping blood tie points would be a thing. So, as it stands, if you want to do full World Eaters, you can't really take demons with you. But I like the idea of summoning in a demon like in AOS, if you've got, I think is it 5 blood tie points? You can bring in blood letters, for example, or I think 5 blood tie points, you can bring in blood crushers, things like that. I don't think it would break the game. Yes, it's models out of nowhere. I understand that. But things had to die for it to happen. Be it the World Eaters, wiped a unit out, or units of World Eaters got wiped out. So, it comes from something, Something had to happen. Either you've lost something or you've killed things to gain it. Now, I know you might be thinking, if you wipe out nearly someone's whole army and you brought in more models, would that be very one-sided and game-breaking? I don't think so. I mean, it seems to work alright for AOS, so why can't it work for 40k? And if you think about it, all of the bonuses from core and things like that, which presumably will transfer over for the World Eaters, because at the moment they have no core keyword. So Khan at the moment can reroll all failed hits for everybody around him within 1 inch. So you could castle up with Predator tanks, for example. That's too powerful. As cool as that is, it doesn't make sense also because Khan, maybe in 30k might have been like that, but in 40k, as the Betrayer, he's not like that. He's not too much of a commander, I would say. He's probably a bit more insane. So, yes, the core keyword needs to come in, but if you summon in demons, and they might have the core keyword, but they wouldn't have core World Eaters keyword. So they wouldn't get the buffs that you're laying out there. So bringing in extra models, brilliant. But if you brought them in and they had buffs as well from the stuff you already had on the table, that would probably break the game. So I don't see a problem with, I think it's 8 blood tie points you can bring in a Bloodthirster. Is that too broken for 40k? So you're thinking you get 1 point from a unit, you have to destroy 8 units or lose 8 units or any mix of those things. Would that break the game? I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, am I hoping too much? Am I wishing for too much? What else do you think that they should bring in? So, I think the stratagem's in a really good place at the moment. Stoke the nails, really, really good. Extra AP, always goes down well. I recently played against salamanders, and my chain axes gave me no AP, basically, against salamanders, for they ignore AP1. So buying the additional AP helped me there. But in any other army, I mean, there's not many of them that really ignores the AP like that. So going against a vanilla Space Marine, for example, AP2 is not game breaking. And it costs a CP to do it. I think that's pretty good. Other CPs I like to use, Red Butchers, 2 CPs to put it on a unit of Terminators before the game. I think it's totally fair. And 2 wounds on the Terminator at the moment does kind of hurt. And the same with the bikes. I like to use bikes with my World Eaters. I like to use Terminators with my World Eaters. 2 wounds on both of those units. Kind of hurts. But other than sticking an extra wound on things like that, yes, the Berserker models are dated, but the rules, I think the rules are still good. I mean, if you want to equip them with a chain axe and a chainsword or a pistol, whatever you want, I still think their profiles are pretty good. They're pretty solid. Yes, they need core keyword. I think maybe Khan could give them buffs. They don't have to have the core keyword because they're berserkers, In my mind, I'm thinking, would they really listen to tactics and make them hit more accurately and things like that? I don't know. But normally, with the sheer volume of attacks, they do pretty well on their own. Sometimes I keep an aspiring champion near them, so they get to reroll the 1s on the wounds, which is pretty nice. I don't think any of that is broken, but if it changed, I wouldn't be too upset. Now, new models wise, I mentioned Agrom. I think that's a must. New Berserkers, fair enough. I mean, I've repainted mine recently and jazzed them up a little bit, made them a little bit more modern, so they didn't look too much like Morecambe and Wise Bring Me Sunshine with a little skip in the air. But when I bring out new ones, I wouldn't complain. You know, I've seen people mix a little bit of possessed parts in with them, and that looks pretty nice. Works better possibly for word bearers, but no, I mean, that era of models, the parts are quite interchangeable. I've seen people modernise them with AOS models, or even use the new Chaos Space Marine models, chop and change some bits. Great conversions out there, fantastic work. But, like I said, wouldn't complain. The bikes still look good, the Terminators still look good. Most of the stuff I am pretty happy with. But a new model that hasn't really been out there, you used to get the Lord on the Juggernaut. You know, that was pretty cool. Why not have units of Berserkers on Juggernauts? Or regular World Eaters, if there is such a thing, on Juggernauts. That would be pretty cool. I don't think the game needs it, but if they wanted to bring new stuff out there, who am I to complain? I would buy it. Definitely collect more than I paint, but we all do that, don't we? And then back to rules again, I would say demon engines. So I noticed also in the Death Guard Codex that things like Defilers, they hit on 3s rather than 4s. That's pretty nice. I do like the model. I know it is quite dated and people say it is a dated model, but I've converted mine to make it look a bit more modern. I still remember when they first came out, and yeah, it really did divide people. Some people thought they looked goofy, like the big, like mechanical steampunk crabs that they are. I quite like them. But then you're talking to a person, or listening to a person even, that likes the Helldrake. Not the paint, but I like the model. I do own 2 Helldrakes. I do love the models. I think they could be better. I mean, maybe a flat 6 number of shots from the Flamer rather than D6. You fly in, yes, it's great range for the Flamer, but you're relying on getting a decent number of flaming shots and then getting close combat afterwards. Speed on it's good. Most of the stats are good. But 1 Flamer, maybe 2 D6. That would be pretty nice. I know it's got a great range on the Flamer. It's not a short range Flamer. I understand that. Maybe that's why you're taking up, you know, the punchiness possibly. Or bring back the -1 to hit. Because this thing can't land. It shouldn't hover in my opinion. I think it should be supersonic. So -1 to hit with a Demon Saver 5-up like it has now. I would be happy with that. That's pretty cool. I mean, it wouldn't take a lot. Put either 2d6 on the Flamer or -1 to hit because it's supersonic. I don't think that would break the game. You know? Because it's going to be on its own. It's a flanking flyer. You know, if it is supersonic, it will be grabbing so many objectives. I do like the model. There's so much gold trim to paint, but I like the model. Things like the Mauler Fiend, I think they're ace. I'm not sure they're incredibly, you know, game breaking, OP, anything like that. I think the model was cool. Very, very world eatery in my head, in my opinion. Rhinos are in a good place. One thing I am looking forward to is the stratagem for Pop and Smoke. Not that it makes much of a difference with a Rhino, but things like Land Raiders. Pop and Smoke and Land Raider. I've got 4 last cannons. Do a Pop Smoke or shoot 4 last cannons and 2 heavy bolters. I'd rather shoot. So really looking forward to that stratagem even. But other than that, I don't think at the moment the stratagems are in a bad place for them. Like I said, Stokes and Nails. Veterans of the Long War is still very good, very, very strong. +1 to wound. Who doesn't like that? So they've got +1 to wound, plus an extra AP. You know, 3 points for attacking again. Maybe they should get rid of it, possibly. Because then you get the Space Wolf players breathing down your neck saying, well, we can't do that with our Wolfen. So, yeah, get rid of that if you have to. I'm probably upsetting a lot of World Eaters players right now by saying that, but that's just my personal opinion. Things like the Demon Princes, I think the model looks okay. I've seen loads of conversions out there to make them look really, really cool. Still like the kit. I know some of the faces look a bit chummy, look a bit cheesy. A bit like the Gene Stealers in a way. They look like they're stupidly, deliriously happy. But I suppose if you're a demon of murder, why wouldn't you look happy? I think the Corn variant does need a bit of a buff, because it doesn't have the spells like warp time, things like that. The extra attack, it's not really gaining much. It's not really gaining much. So maybe something else towards that, because I know we cannot have spells. I do like Master of Possession, but I know we can't have that for World Eaters, because that's quite a nice little debuffing kind of ability it's got with the mortal wounds against Psychers. Plus it's a cool model. I mean, I've got the model from the Shadow Spear box. It looks wicked, but obviously World Eaters can't use it. Other than that, I think most of the models are pretty cool. Havocs, you know, you don't have to go all close combat. Havocs are good. You know, toughness 5, the fact that they ignore the -1 to hit heavy weapons is really good. So I don't think it would take much to make World Eaters in a reasonable place again. So, Demon Agrom, in my personal opinion. Extra wounds, definitely all round. And I think blood type points. Instead of the psychic, I think blood type points. But then you're going to get those World Eaters, they're going to go, when we get a Codex, we're going to be bringing in demons, right? Right? So I think we need to be a bit careful on that front. And with the introduction of the core keyword, some of the demon engines possibly may lose re-rolling bonuses, so maybe keep Demon Forge in. The stratagems that I use quite often is Demon Forged, because I do like the occasional demon engine. Why over Space Marines? Mainly because of the 5-up invulnerable. Plus they look cooler. Rule of cool people. But I don't think they're massively broken compared to Space Marines. You know, the heretical side of things. But yeah, Demon Forge is nice. It's 1 CP. Brilliant. Veterans of Long War, maybe do what they do in the Space Marine Codexes now. If it's, I don't know, maybe more than 5 models, 2 points for Veterans of Long War. I don't think World Eaters really care about transhuman related kind of shenanigans. They just want to kill more stuff. So Veterans of Long War, I think, is pretty good. I use it still a lot, and obviously Stoke the Nails, things like that. So that's the ones I use most of the time. I would like those kept in. Like GW, listen to me right now. Sure, they watch our videos, right? Yeah, keep those in. I mean, put your comments down below what you personally would like to see in. See, I like the Catan model. Apart from these chicken feet, I think he's really cool. I don't dislike the Lord of Skulls. I don't own one. I thought about owning one. I just think it's possibly a bit big on the tracks. Not because it's broken in the game or it's not very good in the game. Either way, it's because you don't generally think about putting the terrain down and then go, oh wait, can't get through. So maybe something needs to change there. Things like the Brass Scorpion. I really like Brass Scorpion. I know it's a Forge World model. I don't think it's broken. I think it's a great model, but once again, hard to get through the terrain. But the good old classic weapon for World Eaters is the Chain Axe. So at the moment it is Strength 5, AP 1, but with the improvement to Astartes chainswords, or chainsaws in total, that's AP 1 anyway. So, does that mean chain axes go up an additional 1? Maybe they only go up 1 for World Eaters, because I know there's a few other units, other Chaos factions that can use it as well. I don't know. I think Strength 5 is really nice. AP 2 is it too broken? I don't know, because it is 1 point currently for a chain axe, and initially used to buy it because the AP was great and the extra strength. Maybe keep it at 1 point and leave the AP as it is, and then you could always use Stoke the Nails. I don't think that's game breaking, and like I said, I think World Eaters is still in a good place. I know if we whinge about our army, maybe we'll get better things, but I believe in the boys. I think they're good. Lots and lots and lots of close combat attacks. They still have a fairly good range game. So if you've got the Forge Fiend, maybe if you've got a few of the Hell Brutes, and they can shoot back as well when they're getting shot at, which is always nice. I like those rules. But what I am looking forward to, hopefully, will they be bringing in the Chaos version of Duty Eternal. So the -1 damage on Dreadnoughts to a minimum of 1. It's pretty nice. Is that game breaking if they still keep the shooting back rule? I don't think so. I don't think so. But it'd be interesting to see. So, thank you for watching, guys. Listening to me once again ramble on. If this is the kind of thing you like, please leave a message below and say, please ramble on about predictions for armies in future. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe. And if you can subscribe or click on the like button while making revving noises like a chainsword or a chain axe or shouting blood for the blood god, it would appease the Lord of Skulls. Stay safe, everyone. Catch you in the next video.